Ready, Grant? Rory? All right, I will call the meeting of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order. Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Here.
Little,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
White, Joka.
Here. We'll have a moment of silence to reflect on our actions. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody in the boardroom that would like to provide public comment?
Agenda.
Oh, agenda, okay, a motion
move.
to... All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Public comments. Do we have anybody in the boardroom that would like to provide public comment? Do we have anybody on Zoom or on the phone that would like to provide public comment? Claims and payments. Mr. Perry?
Yes, this week's expenditures total $281,745.79. The larger items, secondary roads, $24,289.71. Conservation, $16,125. Health Department, $21,782. Maintenance, $27,457. And finally, Sheriff's Department, $58,438. They all looked normal.
All right, we have a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlements of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White. Yes. Joka.
Yes. Department updates from department heads and or elected officials.
You want me to go?
Amanda.
Well, yes, hi board. I'm Amanda Fesemar, HR Director. Why don't you guys come up here? I just want to introduce our new HR staff to you all. We have Anna Knapp here, and we have Jerry Gallmeyer. They are both the
Morning.
HR
Morning.
specialists, and I'm really excited for them to be here and part of our team. They completed their first week last week, and they came back, so I'm excited about that. No, but they both come with HR experience, and I'm really looking forward to their knowledge and skills and expertise in serving the departments here in elected offices. So,
Welcome.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Nice to have you on board.
Kathy?
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Just an update on Grundy Road. ECI is, again, assisting with the utility relocations. Rural Water, Mid-American, they are continuing to move the utilities back out of the right-of-way, or to the outer part of the right-of-way, excuse me. Working days will not start for about 3 more weeks yet. Another news item, or newsworthy item, is we've been asked by Blackhawk County Solid Waste to participate in a study on garbage and trash that is on county property, for example, on our rights of way. And Conservation Board has also been asked to be part of this study group as well, because as you know, they have many properties where garbage gets dumped. The Solid Waste Commission has an intern from AmeriCorps for at least the next 6 months, and she's going to be working on this issue and coming up with a public awareness campaign that we're all hoping will benefit the county in general and get people to stop throwing garbage in places where we don't need it. Because as you know, both departments, the sheriff's office, they're busy with calling this into dispatch, seeing this garbage. All of us are involved in cleaning up the garbage, so any type of effort to alleviate that would certainly be helpful. So we'll keep you posted on that effort. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Anybody else in the boardroom that would like to provide a comment on their department, update on their department? On Zoom, anybody on Zoom that would like to provide us with an update? Yolando?
Oh, good morning, Board. This is Yolando Lovelace, the Director of Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs. Apologize for not being there previous months, but previous weeks, but we're starting to see some traffic increase, and they keep scheduling me for veterans, but I apologize for that. I just wanted to bring you up to speed on a couple things. We haven't had anyone pretty much qualify for the tax relief, income tax relief, and so we're at almost at the end of March in a standpoint, so there's a possibility that that would be returning back to the Board of Supervisors. I do want to thank you guys for providing that, but just with the CARES Acts and with all the other, I guess, resources that are out there, we haven't had veterans struggle in that standpoint to get behind on their property tax or their home in that standpoint. Not one that qualifies under the program, but thank you for doing that. We're still getting some solicitation from local businesses to partner with us to do certain things. We just recently had two local businesses do a fund drive to help our food pantry out. We have a car dealership that's doing some special stuff for us. So as the weather is changing, we're getting more and more involved in the community, and community outreach is very important. When I say that community outreach is very important, we're getting foot traffic in from outside of Blackhawk County, and we don't turn any veteran away. And those veterans are, one in particular, I think he was from Parkersburg. He had a $134,000 back payment on a claim that we did for him. So word is getting out that our office is there to support any veteran, and we don't discourage that in that standpoint, but we are still changing veterans' lives in that standpoint. Our staff here are doing some great things for veterans, in particular our Vietnam veterans who have suffered through a lot. 3 or 4 of my small staff have got their first vaccine. We just got one more staff member that is waiting in that standpoint to at least get their first. So I just wanted to give you an update there in that standpoint. There has been a lot of churn about when the veterans are going to start back up their picnics in the park, things of that nature, and I keep letting them know that under county policies that we just are not ready for that yet, but as things improve, we'll let them know. Just for the board's purposes, is our very first 2, if we do it, I'm looking at probably June if possible, once the vaccinations are plentiful throughout the county and policies are released or at least put in place to where we can have some gatherings. We'll do the first couple here along with an open house at our facility, just to get veterans aware of where we're at, our new facilities, what we're going to offer at our new facilities, and then also to enjoy a free lunch. So we're looking at doing that. We need probably, I'll be looking at picnic tables and things of that nature, trying to coordinate to get some picnic tables out here in our fenced-in area in that standpoint. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to bring up was, March is Military Women's Month in that standpoint, and I was beating myself up of what female veteran that I could bring out, and unfortunately I have to talk about this female veteran, and that's Chiquita Lovelace. She's a 23-year Navy veteran, retiree. She was just awarded the Mercy One
Heroes Among Us.
Heroes Among Us award for the great things that she's doing out at UNI. The last 2 years at UNI as the military liaison for the student veterans out at UNI, UNI has been awarded the bronze for the students completing their required studies and graduating, and those numbers keep increasing each year. And so here we have a veteran in Blackhawk County who's doing great things when she was in the service and doing great things for the community, in particular our student veterans at UNI in that standpoint. So we wanted to recognize Chiquita Lovelace for the great things that she's doing at UNI. Then lastly, we're doing a strategic planning meeting today, looking at sort of getting more and more involvement with our commission. I want them to be key players in the decisions that are made here. I know my responsibility as director, but it's just good to have that oversight where you have more commissioners aware of the processes that we do, how we do it, and how does it benefit our veterans in the community. And so tonight we're going to be looking at that, each one of our job tasks, how well we're doing it, and then how do we evaluate, are we hitting the mark in that standpoint? So I look forward to that. That's tonight in that standpoint. Other than that, I'm standing by to address any questions or concerns.
Yolando, I have a question. A lot of retailers offer military discount for veterans, but they also ask for, yesterday I came across a situation where they asked for an ID card. Is there any type of ID card that somebody who served 4 years, they get out, can get to show that they were in the military? And where do they get it?
Veterans.
So what we've been doing to address that question, that's a great question for our veterans, is that your driver's license carries so much weight other than the local ID that we used to do. Your driver's license is something that's recognized throughout all 50 states in that standpoint. And that's particularly the source that these businesses want to see. And so we encourage our veterans to get the veteran on their driver's license. And we have the application here to validate a veteran. And if we sign that validation form off, the veteran, all he has to do is take that form to the DOT. The DOT puts a veteran on that license, that driver's license. We also encourage our veterans to get, the license plate, because that's free. One license plate is free through the state of Iowa. Then lastly, to address your other question, we do have a large community of National Guard and reservists in Black Hawk County. We don't have a whole lot of active duty. But if they don't fulfill their requirement through Title 10, they don't get, by benefit side, the designation as veteran. But if they go up on va.gov, there's a site there to where they can apply and get a veteran's license, or veteran's ID, excuse me. They can get a veteran's ID, and all they would have to do is upload a picture, fill out the form, and they'll still get what they call a veteran's ID through va.gov. And that's what we've been encouraging veterans to do, or veterans or people who don't fall up under the requirement of getting the title veteran, but did serve their country in that standpoint. So there is that source out there.
Thank you.
Damn, they can put it right on your driver's license.
I had no idea. My tattoo only goes so far, and that didn't give me a discount yesterday. All right, any other department heads that would like to provide an update? Item number 5, approval of the minutes for March 16th, 2021.
So, second.
All those any questions, comments about the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Say no. The minutes are approved. Item number 6, the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Any comments, questions in regard to the consent agenda? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White. Yes. Leyland,
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes. Item number 7A, an update from Ben Delagardelle, doing business as Urban Services Incorporated, in regard to the Washburn sanitary sewer. You're up, Ben.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
Just going to provide an update from February here. Of course, we're doing the regular maintenance, routine monitoring. In February, we had 3 service calls and no locates, so it was another quiet month, which is good. I did the MOR report, which is required every month. We do have a list of minor repairs. It's sort of growing over time here in the winter. We'll be taking care of that with this decent weather that we have, hopefully not in the rain, but just here and there we'll be doing our pump checks. We go around twice a year to check all the pump stations, so that'll be happening here end of March, early April. We do have a DNR inspection. I've been in contact with Brett from the DNR, and he's going to come look at the lagoon system and the pump system Thursday or Friday this week. So that's going to be happening pretty quick. Basically, they check over our history of MORs since our most recent inspection, which is about 3 years. They make a report with recommendations, things that are urgent, things that are not so urgent, just a basic overall review of the system. It's basically a third party between me and you that enforces, obviously, the permit that we have, and then also guides us forward. If this isn't the case, but if we needed to improve our facilities as far as going larger, but they will see this influent manhole that we've talked about before, and obviously I expect them to recommend replacing the manhole. I intend to do that this spring, and so I would like to tell him that we have something in the works to do that, but it's going to be up to you guys on the agenda here if that happens. But it's my recommendation that we do it, and I will be seeing the DNR later this week. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, we'll wait on that, if we have any questions about that particular item, I guess we'll wait till that agenda item, but does anybody?
Okay, yep, I'll be here.
Any other questions for Ben? All right, we'll move on to the contracts and agreements. Item 8A, a resolution that the cooperative agreement between Blackhawk County and the city of Elk Run Heights for improvements to County Road V43, Elk Run Road, from Independence Avenue to a point just north of County Road D22, Dubuque Road, within Blackhawk County, with a cost of $47,302.21. Project number STBG-SWAP-C007, in parentheses 159 long FG-07, Elk Run Road. HMA resurfacing, be approved and direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
Kathy, the email you sent the board on this were indicated, obviously, the agreement, you forgot about it. Do we have something in place now that won't happen again? I mean, the work was done, but you said you forgot to send them the.
Right. I originally went to their city council meeting approximately a year before the work was to start, to get them to pay their portion of the cost for the work. They verbally committed to participating in the project, and then it was up to me to follow up with them with the written agreement, and I failed to do that until after the work was done. So we don't necessarily have a written process, a checklist in place. We can definitely look at that in the future.
Should we have one for the
Yes.
future?
Yes, that would be a good idea so that this doesn't happen
Did the
again.
board ever vote on this agreement?
Not
approve
until today, because this is the first time I'm bringing it to you.
Should we vote on the agreement prior to the work being done?
Yes, and ideally, yes.
So it's all of this whole package you're talking about, we're gonna do it different in the future.
Yes, ideally, this agreement would be approved before we even started
Okay.
the work.
And I also think in the future, on any agreement with them on delayed payments should come to the board first for approval. So the board has to approve that, not the department head.
Yes, I agree that that's how they were able to afford to pay their
And that's
portion.
fine, but I think the board's the only one that can approve that.
The awareness certainly helps either way. I was going to say just bringing it to our attention, I guess how they choose to pay for it or how it's, yeah.
Well, it's after
that's
the fact,
something
the work's done.
This one is,
The
but-
agreement's already made. so-
No, but I mean the ones in the future that we're talking about.
But I think any agreement board should see it first before they even get it. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Kathy.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second it. Any more comments, questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White. Yes. Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka.
Yes. Item 8B is a resolution to approve the addendum to the cooperative agreement received from the city of Elk Run Heights, setting forth the terms of payments in increments of $20,000
So moved.
to be paid by or before June 30th, 2021, and $27,302.21 to be paid by or before June 30th, 2022 to the Blackhawk County Engineers Office and to direct the chair to sign for same as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
Second.
Any comments, questions for Kathy or others? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote.
White. Yes. Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka.
Yes. It is approved. All right, Ben, you're going to be on again. Item 9A, a resolution to approve the expenditure of no more than $24,000 for the Washburn manhole project as recommended by Ben Delegate Dardell.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ben, I got a question. Who's doing the work?
It will be a combination of a contractor that I've hired or hope to hire, Summers Enterprise from Mechanicsville. It's a person that personally have worked with, and other contractors I work with have worked with him as well. It's supposed to be a one-day project. I will be doing some of the work myself as much as I can, just to keep it at an hourly rate for the county, or I guess the Washburn Sanitary Sewer District. But there's equipment that I don't have and manpower that I don't have to accomplish this. So that's why I need to go outside of just my own abilities.
Is this a verbal agreement, or is there a written agreement, or with this company, or don't we need one?
I don't have a hard number from him, but I know what his hourly rate is, and I know the equipment that's going to need to be there. So we don't have in writing an assigned contract that he's going to perform these duties, but this person I trust, we've worked together before. He knows that public utilities, we need to do this as cost effective as possible. I'm personally managing it, so I can oversee anything that's happening in excess of what needs to be done. So I've got my brain wrapped around it. I just don't have the ability with equipment and manpower right now. So no, it's technically not on paper, but I hope to be doing this quite a bit under what I've asked for, and will be well under that 24,000. But I just want to make sure that I have the approval to spend that if needed.
Did we have a motion?
Yes.
Can we have in that motion up to 24,000, seeing it's an hourly rate?
He put
Yes.
no more, Josh.
Yeah, just up to 24,000, no more. If there's any more, you got to come back to the board.
Yeah, I think that's what he intended.
what-
That's what you intended
Yeah,
to. wasn't it?
my intention is to, like I said, do as much as I can at your hourly rate, get the equipment that I can there.
Part of the motion.
It is,
I know.
It says no more than 24,000.
no more.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Any more comments, questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White. Yes. Trelka,
Yes. Item 9B, a resolution that the appointment of Tony Woods as the 2021 Blackhawk County Weed Commissioner be approved as recommended by Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Kathy?
This is just our annual reappointment of the weed commissioner as required by the Code of Iowa for the 2021 growing season. Tony's been doing it for the last, I think, 5 years now.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Veeder, roll call vote.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White. Yes. Leyland,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes. Item 9C, a resolution that each owner and each person in possession or control of any land in unincorporated Blackhawk County shall cut, burn, or otherwise destroy all noxious weeds thereon, as described in provisions of Iowa Code 317, at such time in each year and in such manner as shall prevent said weeds from blooming or coming to maturity, and shall keep said lands free from such growth of any other weeds as shall render the streets or highways adjoining said land unsafe for public travel. Noxious weeds shall be cut or otherwise destroyed on or before June 1st, 2021, and as often thereafter as is necessary to prevent said production and to direct the publication of notice in the official newspapers of Blackhawk County. It's been moved and seconded. Kathy?
This is public notice that individuals who have this noxious weeds growing on their property are advised to cut and remove them. If not, our weed commissioner, ourselves, or the highway department, we can remove those weeds, noxious weeds, for the Code of Iowa.
So if they don't remove them, we do.
Theoretically, that is the process. We've I've been here over 10 years now, and I think we've only cut noxious weeds once. So we get very few complaints on this issue. The few complaints we've had, one of them has been in the city of Waterloo city limits. So it hasn't been a large problem in this county.
How do we recover the cost then?
So the code says that we can charge people our cost to do that. We have not done that because it's been just a very minimal amount of work in the past.
So they burn them? Do they clean up their mess, or they just leave it in the ditch, then we gotta go out and clean the ditch?
So as you drive around the county, particularly in the next few weeks, you're going to start to see people burning their ditches. Then that's fine. We don't go back afterwards. If we have to come in and remove the weeds, we would just cut the weeds.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any more questions for Kathy? It has been moved and seconded. Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. 9D, a resolution that the request for purchase of capital equipment submitted by Catherine Nicholas, county engineer, be approved and to direct the chair to sign for same, to purchase one hydraulic breaker in the amount of $25,300 from Murphy Tractor, Waterloo, Iowa. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Kathy had asked me if I'd be willing, she came to me and asked me if I'd be willing to reconsider, put it back on the agenda. I had many questions for her. She answered all of them. The one question I had was the disparity in all the bids and exactly where is the money coming from. And she answered all of them, so I told her I would agree to put this on the agenda again. Any other comments or questions for Kathy or any others for James?
I just want to reiterate that we do feel that it is a safety issue. There's really nothing safe about swinging a 1-ton ball of metal around to break up the concrete. Contractors routinely use these hydraulic breakers for their work. It's more efficient than a wrecking ball. It is truly a safety item consideration that I would ask you to make. And we did budget for it. It was approved. I've told you that we are not intending to purchase 2 or 3 items on our FY21 capital item, just because we don't believe we need them at this point. We do, however, want to purchase a copier. We are still holding off on that for probably another 3 to 4 weeks, just due to the COVID circumstances, but we would like to purchase that before the end of the fiscal year. If we are allowed to purchase the breaker and the garage doors and the copier, we would still have approximately $30,000 in the FY21 capital account remaining.
I'll reiterate that you've been doing, or Blackhawk County's been doing this for many years and never had an accident with a wrecking ball. $25,000 purchase of a 1-week usage, maybe every year, is ridiculous.
So,
Reiterated.
yes, and I would say that I've told you about our rental, the cost to rental, $2,500 to $3,000 a week. Renting items can sometimes be not as timely as we think, because we have to get permission, we have to show a certificate of insurance before we are able to sign the contract for the rental. Then for example, Mid-Country would go out and secure one of these hydraulic breakers for us. Then we may have some rain days, for example, in that timeline that we're renting the equipment for. When I say we need it for 40 hours a year, that's off and on. We may have 2 bridges that we're demolishing, and we typically keep the crane on one side of the bridge, demolish the deck, as well as the abutment. Then we pour the new abutment, then we move the crane back over to the other side of the creek, for example, so it might be a week later. So it's just due to the timing of all of this, sometimes the rental isn't timely. We may have to return it before we need to do the next abutment.
And I will reiterate that last week you were $86,000 over on a bridge, and you seem to have no problem spending the money. I stated my opinion last week on that to you.
Did you use the wrecking ball at all in the last 9 months?
We would have used it last summer
Well, why didn't you buy the thing last summer then when you had it in your budget?
because I would say that we were trying to purchase our items slowly throughout
But
this
even though it
fiscal
was a
year.
safety factor, what you're saying, you still considered that you were going to delay it? Okay.
Well, and wasn't,
Yes.
we did ask you to defer some of the budgeted items, I think, because of the COVID and not knowing our revenue.
Right,
Isn't
we,
that correct?
and we
You got,
took
you
that.
said
That was-
30,000 left of your capital?
Correct.
What was your total capital for FY '21?
We budgeted 841,000
800
capital.
This new or used?
This would be a new
Oh,
breaker.
brand new.
Yeah. And it was considerably under what the other two bids were.
Yes,
25,000, I think it was like 39,000 and 40 something.
This is
Right.
a hydraulic, you said?
yes, it runs off the
And it
hydraulics
doesn't
of the
hurt it
excavator.
sitting
Yeah, this-
11 months out of the year? The seals and stuff in it?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
We-
Thank you.
I mean, we have other hydraulic equipment that,
that's it. No.
Any more comments, questions for Kathy or others? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
No.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
No.
Elka.
Yes. Item 9E is a resolution that the best bid received from Mike Faraday Heating and Air Conditioning, Waterloo, Iowa, in the amount of $46,730 for the replacement of the HVAC system at the JCS facility. Be
So moved.
approved and for the chair to sign the contract contingent upon receipt of the certificate of insurance as recommended by Rory Giving, maintenance superintendent. Roy, are you going to read off the bid amounts and such?
Yes, I can do that.
It has been
We
moved.
did, we had two people, do you care if I pull this down just so you can hear me?
Yes,
better?
go ahead.
We had two companies attend the pre-bid meeting. We received two bids. We received a bid from Bergen Plumbing and Heating in the amount of $51,904.18. And we also received a bid from Mike Faraday in the amount of $46,730. My recommendation is to go with Mike Faraday for the $46,730. Just to give you kind of a brief rundown of what this project consists of. It's the replacement of 7 HVAC units over at the JCS facility. Each of those units were spec'd out to meet the annual fuel utilization efficiency of at least 96%, which they do. Each air conditioner unit was spec'd out to meet the minimum of 14 SEER, which these actually are going to be 16 SEER, and they are also Energy Star rated. They also, each unit will have a air purifying system included on them. It's called Active Pure is the trademark. And this basically uses a light wave and catalytic process to produce a scrubber ion that destroys contaminants on surface and in the air. It has been tested and proven to be effective at the rate of 99.98% for SARS COVID-2 surface reduction. So again, each one of these units will have that placed on it. Looking at the project when we brought this in front of the board at budget time, I did budget for $70,000 for this project. When looking at that, at the time, we looked at possibly having to do some extensive duct working, also balancing to the system. What we were able to accomplish in the bidding process was to just receive static pressure testing for each unit. Because back in, I believe it was 1996 when these were put in, there was a pretty intensive engineering performed on that system. So we're using those numbers essentially to hold this contractor to those numbers. So,
Are the old units out, Rory?
no, they're still being used, well, all but One we did lose just at the end of the winter season, so.
How old are they?
I believe they were put in 1996.
Really?
I didn't bring that record up with me, but that's what's stuck in
Lasted
my
that
head.
long?
Yeah.
Roy, did you break that out, that Arctic pier?
I haven't gotten that number yet, but I will look into that because we're actually going to be looking at that for our other facilities as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be done.
Yep.
Kind of expensive for a building that we don't have any county employees in or
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah, the nice thing about these units, they are much more efficient than what we have over there. What we currently have over there are called a pulse system, which back in the day, they were a very nice system, but it's getting very difficult to find parts for them and costly.
You get the roof leak fixed too.
Yes, we did. We actually had a couple of spots up there that was leaking in, so we had hired service roofing to come over and do the patching on that. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. It's been moved and seconded. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Veeder, roll call vote, please.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Belka.
Yes. Item number 9F. Mike, could you explain the wording of this resolution publicly and how we should proceed? I see we have in supportive and opposing, and I would just like the public to hear how
You
we
bet.
proceed beyond this.
All right, so the city of Janesville has a sewer treatment plant that is technically outside of city limits. And what they're doing is they are seeking, as the code requires, and they can likely do this this annexation regardless of whether we support or oppose it. But having said that, the code requires that they seek County Board of Supervisors input, and they're having a meeting tonight. I believe it's at 6:00 p.m. Where you can go to discuss any concerns you have with them. But in any event, what it is there are two parcels of land. One is the sewer treatment plant itself. The other one is a small parcel which adjoins the parcel that is the sewer treatment plant to the existing city limit of the city of Janesville. So those are two of the applications. The third application is for the removal of a part or severing of a parcel of land that is currently in the city of Janesville back to the county as non-Janesville property. That is, they don't have the total acres in their application, but eyeballing they're not surveys, but they're aerials where they have them drawn. They're roughly equal, but it looks to me, at least to my eyeballs, as though it's slightly more being given back to the county than what's being annexed into the city of Janesville. I consulted with their attorney, Gary Bovee, about it and confirmed this understanding. I also talked with our auditor's office about the overall effect it's going to have. Really a minimal impact on tax base for the county. If anything, it would have a slightly positive effect for the county tax base. So with that, I personally am of the understanding that historically we don't typically oppose these types of annexations. I'm not sure what reason there would be, but in any event, the legal effect is to bring in those two parcels, including the sewer treatment plant, into the city of Janesville, and then to kind of give one back. All right?
Is that unusual to get one back? I mean, typically they wouldn't have to do that.
I think it's unusual historically. You don't
Yeah.
usually see that. So I do consider that unusual. I didn't discuss with Mr. Bovee why they were doing it that way, but my guess is they just wanted to limit the size of their town or perhaps the reach of their services to some extent, because I don't think that they reached onto that parcel that they're giving back at this point anyway.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion in support of three applications signed 2/12/2021 and filed with the city of Janesville, Iowa by fee simple title holders Gary F. Howe and Lynette J. Howen by the city of Janesville, Iowa, seeking the voluntary annexation of two parcels into the city of Janesville, Iowa pursuant to Iowa Code 368.7 and seeking to sever one parcel from the city of Janesville pursuant to Iowa Code 368.8, all of which is reflected on a proposed resolution to be considered by the Janesville City Council this evening, which is the evening of March 23rd, 2021.
Second.
Any more comments or questions?
And just so we're clear, the motion was in support, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Mr. Vito, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes. On to item 9G. County preparedness and possible updates for COVID-19. Anybody have any updates?
Anybody here from the health department?
I'll just share,
Excuse me.
I'll go ahead and share. I participated in 2 informative sessions last week on the American Rescue Plan. One was a phone call with White House staff, and the other one was a educational forum put on by NACO that James also participated in. Some of the big takeaways that we haven't discussed already is that guidance from the U.S. Treasury Department is expected within the next 2 weeks to cover a little more details about the process for obtaining funds, as well as a little more guidance on some of the limitations and scope of use. There's a big emphasis on infrastructure projects with an emphasis on things like broadband, but also use for things like public health. Hazard pay was an eligible thing. Assistance to hard-hit industries. One of them they cited was hospitality industry and such, as well as direct assistance on things like